everyone, how's it going? Got some updates here. I was told by the park that we live in that I would not be allowed to install a wind turbine either in the yard or on the roof. They see it. They already allow satellite dishes on the roof, but that's about it. So unfortunately, I can't do that. I tried mingling my way around it, and it's just not possible right now, at least. So, what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to build a solar panel stand. I'm throwing out the idea of security, and I've got homeowners insurance, so I already talked to my agent, and as long as it's on my property, then if somebody does decide to come by and steal all the panels, then it's covered. And anyways, with that in mind, I've been designing a stand here that is as stable as possible, and also a little bit on the difficult side to just walk away from. This thing's going to be pretty heavy. So as you can see here, this is completed. I've completed the entire stand. I've spent quite a few hours working on this, trying to make it stable, but you can see here that it will hold 15 solar panels, okay, 100-watt solar panels, which is what I already have. So it'll hold 15 100-watt solar panels, and it is as tall as the house. It comes all the way up. This point right here is actually the point at where the roof actually will meet the panels. So the house, the roof comes to right here, which is about 12 feet. And then the panels are going to come down like this. So I have 3 rows of 5 solar panels here, and it's made out of wood, just like my last stand that I had built. So with structural stability in mind, I had to make sure that it was going to be strong enough to hold the weight of all the panels. I also had to make sure that even in a 100-mile-an-hour wind, this thing wouldn't blow over. Now, blowing over from left to right, that is, this direction here, it's just basically impossible. I mean, it would take a 150-mile-an-hour wind to blow this thing over on its side. I mean, it's so wide that would be basically impossible unless there was a tornado of some kind. Now I'm a little bit more worried about the front to back, actually flipping forward, but it's about 7.5 feet from the front to the back, and with most of the weight being distributed in about the 10-foot range, I was able to come up with basically it would take a lot of force from behind to push this forward. And I'm also going to anchor it using what they're called is their shed anchors. So I'm going to use a couple shed anchors down here and just anchor it to the ground. So that will also help. But overall, the stability I think is pretty good. Most people would say, oh, well, you need some triangles here or some X's for cross support. I'm using 2x6s for the legs. I've got one 2x4 here in the middle for the base, and then it's all 2x4s the rest of the way. Most of the weight is going to be carried right here in the middle. That's why I doubled up on the 2x6s. About half of the weight of the entire stand is going to be right here in this middle portion, so I doubled up. I've got 6 2x6s that are going to be holding that up, and then the outer weight here, I was a little concerned at first, thinking that, well, maybe I should have another support, a 2x6 right here on the outside, but only about a quarter of the entire weight is going to be supported on this face right here. So I wasn't actually too concerned about it. As I said, most of the weight is going to be centralized right here in the middle. If I build this and I feel a little unsure, like there's too much strain on these 2x4s that are under here, if I feel like there's too much strain, then of course I'm going to add another couple of 2x6s, but I'm trying to make this as minimal as possible, and as safe as possible, obviously. I don't want the thing to fall forward or collapse, and I don't see this collapsing. When I built the other stand, I thought, oh, 2x6s are perfect. It's kind of overkill for that little stand that I had. 2x4s are very strong, and so anyway, the 2x6s should do even better for supporting the weight, the vertical weight, and then 2x4s should be enough for the horizontal weight. I've also got support coming across here. These are 2x4s. I got 2 2x4s on the back to keep it from shifting left and right. I've also got a 2x4 in front here to keep it shifting left and right, and then the front to back shift, which I was much less worried about. I still have 4 2x4s here to keep these from shifting front to back. Now this side here is going to be butt up against the house. It's not going to be touching the house, but it'll be pretty close. So I don't have to worry about it moving backwards. It's the moving forward that I have to worry about. But since this angle is a 45, it would take a lot of force to get this whole thing, all these legs here, to actually move forward. Okay, so I consider this to be pretty stable, pretty solid. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Again, we're using 2x6s, and they're very strong. And then, of course, the inner supports are all going to be 2x4s. Supports coming across the solar panels are going to be 2x4s. So, I really think this is going to be good enough. It's going to take quite a bit of lumber, but we're looking at about $150 to $200 for this stand. But when you think this is a 1.5 kilowatt array, when you think that if you put something like this on a pole, you're looking at $2,500 for the pole and the stand and all the hardware to do this. Okay. So I'm saving a lot of money by making it out of wood, making it myself. So anyways, again, I'm going to be anchoring this down at the rear because there's no way this thing's going to flip back into the house. I mean, it's way too heavy to flip back into the house, okay? So I'm going to anchor it down at the rear using those anchors that I told you about. And this thing, I mean, air can get all the way through, so even if there's a gust of wind, you got to think, okay? The house is right here. The house is going to be blocking any wind coming from this direction. So, and we also have our neighbors, which are about 15 feet, actually it's 18 feet out this way. So that's going to block any wind coming in from that direction. So the only wind that I'm really going to be worried about picking up is going to be from left to right. So it's less likely, I mean, there's still going to be wind gusts. It's still going to put some pressure on this, but it's less likely that a gust is going to come through here, blow underneath the panels, and then, whoo, they're going to blow right away. It's just so unlikely. So anyway, this is exactly what I've got set up now. I'm really excited to start building this. I'm going to be adding another 5 panels to my array here come January. And I'm going to start from the top to bottom. And I'll show you exactly where this is going to go and why I need to start top to bottom. Alright, so it's 10 a.m. and we are about 1 month away from winter solstice. So the sun is almost as low in the sky as it's going to go. And at 10 a.m. you can see that this wall here is exposed to the sun quite a bit. If you walk over towards my shed, you can see that it's also exposed here. Now the problem is, in the wintertime, what I'm having a problem is I've got the sun coming up over here and then starts being blocked by these trees. Also, the sun being as low as it is in the sky, the angle of those panels being almost straight up and down, vertical, I'm not getting as much direct sunlight as I would like to have throughout the day, okay? So by putting it up against this wall here and up as high as it'll go, you can see that I am exposed to the sun pretty much from the time that the sun creeps up over that house there until it hits those trees way back there. Now again, where this is winter we're talking about here, okay? If this were summertime, the sun would literally come up, even in May, June area, the sun would literally come up over the top of the sky, go all the way down, and it would end up, out there in that area there, okay? So it's going to be hitting these panels pretty much all day long. And I put them at a 45-degree angle so that I can get kind of an equal amount of winter and summer sun. So again, this is the best spot that I can think of to put it. It'll be high enough where it'll be able to be exposed to as much sunlight as possible. As you can see here, it's, like I said, it's 10 a.m. It's 10 in the morning. And this side of the house starts being exposed, even in the wintertime, at about 8:30. So it's a good amount of sun that we're getting. And then another thing that's great about it is that right behind this wall here is where all my charge controller batteries and so on are. So I've got the panels right here. I could just run a short wire up there and then have very little loss when it comes to actually the wire loss. So I won't have to worry about very large wire, running it underground, anything else like that. I am going to end up moving those panels off the shed. I'm going to keep the 4x4s there, but I am going to move the panels off the shed, and I'm going to move them over here and have them up here. Now keep in mind, the panels right now where I'm at should be at about a 45-degree angle, and at their peak they should be at about 47 degrees. So I'm quickly approaching that point. So if you average it out, where the panels should be, 45 is like right in the middle. So that means that I'll get really good light exposure all throughout the year at 45 degrees. So anyway, this is where the stand's going to go. It's going to be a large stand, but it'll hold a lot of panels, and it's going to be pretty cool to be able to get all that sun. So that's the plan for next year. Hopefully everything will work out. So if you got any questions, let me know. Take care, guys.